It's a sign from the universe that we're recording this because Carter and I texted about logistics all day. It wasn't going to work. It's date night on a Thursday night. We were both going to prioritize our queens. And then come to find out, both of our plans got delayed 15 minutes and a little window opened up. We're going to spend that window talking about Caleb Houstan. Because what else would we do on a date night? Caleb Houstan turned down his NBA draft combine offer or invite, whatever word it is. He's not participating in the combine. My gut reaction to that was that might mean he's coming back to school, because why would a fringe undrafted guy not participate in the combine? Now there's rumors he got a promise from an NBA team. I have no idea what to make of this situation. You call him Maple Syrup Chase Audige. What is happening with Caleb Houstan, Cardi?
I really don't get it, to be honest with you. I'm calling bullshit on anybody who says that he has a guarantee that he'll get drafted. I just think that's completely false. I haven't seen any boards that have him listed in the top 60. He's outside of the top 60 on all draft boards. Some of these draft boards don't even include international prospects. I did mention when we talked about it, G, the fact of the matter is, I thought originally it was because if Caleb Houstan went to the combine, there is literally nothing for him to gain. He would test terribly. He would have an awful vert. He's slow. His feet are slow. And God knows what he would have done in the 5-on-5 portion. Who knows? It's not Chrysler, so he probably wouldn't have hit shots. So I just find it very hard to believe that somebody gave Caleb Houstan a promise unless they like lying.
Yeah, I'm really struggling how to process all of this as well. First of all, like, I laugh at the concept of he was obviously going to perform bad at the combine, and everyone accepts that. Even the teams accept that. Even the scouts, like, everybody knew Caleb Houstan was going to perform bad at the combine. Then why the hell is he an NBA draft prospect at all? What's he good at? Like,
I've been asking myself that question. I have no clue why Caleb Houstan's not coming back for another season.
But here's the thing: it's like he was a really highly ranked high school guy,
Mhm.
and what I struggle with is, like, even in the FIBA event with Team Canada, with Ben Matherin on his team and Ryan Nembhard on his team and Zach Edey on his team, he was the best player on that team. Like, you can go back and look at the numbers. He didn't even shoot it well. I'm not saying he was a knockdown shooter in that, but he was like 5 assists a game and doing shit that wasn't just catch and miss open shots or make one a game. Like, I'm just very confused on the basketball player Caleb Houstan is, because there clearly is a prestigious guy somewhere in there that wasn't unlocked at Michigan. Maybe that's Juwan's fault. Maybe it's the roster's fault. I have no idea. Maybe he's just done with college because he wanted to be a one and done. But what makes no sense to me is, like, the promise talk, the quote unquote promise, because guys that are mocked in the 60s don't get promises. And if they got a promise, it's not one you should trust, because whatever team promised him they're going to take him, if somebody better falls, if Ochai Agbaji for some reason falls to 33 in this draft, they're taking him instead of Caleb Houstan. So, like, am I wrong in that? Like, what team is actually set on, like, we're picking you at 35, Caleb?
I really truly think it's a complete lie. There's no way he has a first round one for sure. I would literally donate my kidney if he has a first round promise. I promise you that he doesn't have that. No pun intended.
You promise that he doesn't have a promise.
I promise you that he does not have a promise. Like, there's no way. There's no basis to give him a first round promise. There literally is none.
No, there's not. Which is why, like, I don't know. I struggle because, to me, if you are actually a guy who is fringe undrafted, you participate in the combine. No matter how poorly people think you're going to do, participate, because all you can do is pleasantly surprise people. If you shit the bed at the combine and you're Caleb Houstan, no one's blaming you for that. Everyone expected you to test poorly. But if you play 5-on-5 at the combine and God forbid you catch fire, now you are drafted, right? Like, that's what doesn't make sense to me, is like, oh, he's protecting something here by not participating in the combine. You're not protecting shit when you're mocked undrafted by most of the experts. And I've been trying to explain that to Michigan people in the forums this week. And, like, most people's response is just like, well, are you sure he's actually undrafted? Because what he's obviously, he has higher stock than people think. And it's like, okay, like until someone can give me a concrete reason of that, I'm going to trust the guys who dedicate their life to doing this work. Like if Mike Schmitz and Jonathan Givony tell me that he's a fringe undrafted prospect, I believe that. Like, can we stop rewriting people's jobs for them on that just because
Yeah.
we like Caleb Houstan? I don't get it.
Yeah, and for me, and I'm not. Can you go to the? You can go to the combine and come back to school, right?
Yes, you can.
I think that'd be the ideal situation for Caleb Houstan in that case. Like, go. You cannot. Like you said, you are undrafted. What are you gonna do? Be more undrafted because you test bad? Like, no.
Right.
If anything, you can improve it a little bit. If you don't improve it enough, then just come back to school.
Right. And look, bottom line to me is like, if you are actually that worried about protecting some vision of who you are, that if people saw what you really were, you wouldn't live up to that vision. Like, good basketball players should want to do basketball related things in front of an audience. And if you don't want to do anything basketball related except catch and shoot, stand still jumpers in an open gym setting that only one team can watch you at a time, you're probably not that good of a basketball player, Cart. So I don't get it. If he was a first round guy and he was pulling these moves, it would make sense to me. But again, I think he's got to fight for his life to get drafted right now, and he's not doing that. I do think this opens the door for him to return to Michigan slightly. And I don't say that as a homer, but like, I don't trust these promises. And if anyone with his best interest has that in their hearts for him, like at some point in this process, isn't someone going to be like, dude, you might not get drafted here. Maybe you should go back.
Another angle that I think maybe we're not looking at. I know you said that guys who go like these individual workouts aren't guys that like are basically dodging competition. He could be like a workout warrior as far as he could probably go around the arc from NBA range and probably go like 9 for 10, 10 to 10 at every spot. Like his jumper's that good. He didn't show it last year, but the jumper is there. The form is pretty. He's 6'8", correct?
He's listed 6'8". He looks
Listed 6'6". Okay, but he's not undersized.
Yeah.
Despite the athleticism concerns and everything else, he's still a 6'7" guy who has shown that he can shoot. Obviously, you didn't see it last year, so who knows? Maybe he's getting in these empty gyms and the dormant franchises of the world, the Sacramento Kings or some team like that are looking at that like, ooh, yeah, give me that late first round.
I mean,
that's a steal.
Career suicide if he gets drafted by the Kings. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I do think there's a player in there. I wouldn't be shocked. Like I say all of this to say, like, I'm not going to be surprised if he ends up doing well in the NBA at all. Like, he is a shot maker. And if you put him as the fifth guy on a good team and just ask him to shoot open threes, he's going to hit 40% of them. And I know he didn't do that on the road this year, but like he was better in college this season than people are giving him credit for. The numbers do back that up on the whole. If you add how good he was at home with how bad he was on the road, pretty decent basketball player. So we'll see. I just don't think any of these decisions benefit him. I put it at an 80% chance he's gone. If he is gone, I think it's 50-50 he gets drafted. I don't think he has a promise. So 40% chance he gets drafted, 40% chance he doesn't, 20% chance back at Michigan. What would you put those percentages at?
I think I would put it closer. I thought it was 0% at first that he was coming back. I would go closer to like 35%, only because I think Michigan missing out on Terrence Shannon and missing out on other prospects like Amani Bates. They have some wing minutes and they have a real need at the wing. So maybe they turned up the pressure a little bit, trying to get Caleb back, maybe putting together an NIL package that could keep him, something of that sort. I could definitely see that being something that Michigan staff and Juwan are putting their time and energy into. So I would go right around 30-ish% somewhere in there that he comes back.
He likes Jalen Llewellyn also. That was the rumor, was Caleb
really
recruiting Llewellyn to play at Michigan with him. I don't know what
last question here. While we are talking about, you can see a player turning out to be a good pro. Who would you put your money on that's a better NBA pro between Cormac and Caleb?
Caleb.
And easily?
Yeah, because the difference to me is Caleb has been around pros his whole life. He was playing with Cade Cunningham and the best guys in the country against the best guys in the country for a year and a half plus. He went to FIBA. He performed really well there. Like, all in all, Caleb Houstan is not going to be spooked by any competition. Max Christie still is shivering at the sight of Big Ten defenders right now.
Hold on. Hey, Caleb looked spooked in some of those games in the tournament. He looked big spooked.
It may be the moment, but like the resume Caleb Houstan has is like contributing player next to all these guys who have turned into good NBA players. Max Christie's resume says, I feasted on a really bad high school level of competition. I feasted on non-conference opponents. I really stunk in the Big Ten. And now I'm a first-round pick. Let's see what happens. Like, there's so much
time to add to my Caleb Houstan agenda page that I have here. And there's 26 lines on a sheet of notebook paper. And I am on line 17 right here. New nickname for Caleb is Coattails Houstan. Because he's just going to ride the coattails of all these events and playing with really good players. He's damn near Doc Rivers of D1 athletes. Just riding that one championship, riding that one moment and letting it ride out.
Reminds me of a certain coach of a Big Ten program, Cart, riding off one moment 22 years ago. Interesting. Got it. Good to know. All right. This was fun. Thanks.
Was it fun? Went to the Final Four a couple years ago. So let's let that ride.
Do you have a hook behind you? Again, hang that hat on that. I'm going to get you a hat that literally says Cassius Winston took us to the Final Four so that you can literally hang things on it.
You look like the Pee-wee dad of the star linebacker of the under 12 Kalamazoo Knights football team.
Hope one day that happens. I would love that. Sure, this won't be the last time we talk about Caleb Houstan. Click subscribe while you're at it. Thanks for watching.